Alright, so I know some of you are going to say right off the bat, well, isn't this obvious? What do we need to see from the Bulls in Game 2? They need to hit their shots. You can't win a game when you shoot 32% from the field in a playoff game, and especially shooting 7 for 37 from 3. That just cannot happen. And while yes, this is going to be a key going into Game 2, but there's actually something that I believe there needs to be more focus on going into Game 2 and really will be critical for the rest of the series, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Real quick before I get into the content, I mentioned a few days ago that I will be doing a season-ending giveaway to show my appreciation to all of you who have supported the channel throughout the season, as it really does mean a great deal to me. The fact that I'm able to talk about something I'm passionate about, a team I have been a die-hard fan for years, is really a dream come true for me and wouldn't be possible without all of you guys, the viewers. So I'll be announcing the giveaway in tomorrow's video, which will be my Bulls weekly hot takes video on Wednesday, so make sure you tune into that one. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it when it's released. Also, leave your hot takes in the comments or in the Bulls Central Discord, which can be found in the description. But now that we got that out of the way, let's get back into today's topic. So there was a lot to take away from Game 1 of this series, and while I think most of us didn't expect the Bulls to win Game 1, given the fact that we're going up against the defending champions on the road and the Bulls really struggled towards the end of the season, the fact of the matter is the Bulls were right in there in this game and had a chance to steal the game in Milwaukee. That's what made the loss so crushing. But going into Game 2, normally you would say, well, the Bulls need to replicate what they did in Game 1. They just need to hit their shots. Well, there's a lot more to it than just that, and it starts with defense. The Bulls played some of their best defense in months in Game 1. And it's why it enabled them to hang around in this game, because without their hard-nosed defense, that intensity, they would have been blown out of this game shooting the way that they did. And the reason their defense is so important in this game, and even needs to be more on point in Game 2, is that the Bucks aren't going to have another bad game like they did in Game 1. Like really, I said it in the post-game video, as good as the Bulls defense was, as much as they were hustling and staying focused on that end of the floor, the Bucks did not play well on offense. They missed a lot of open shots, they turned the ball over 21 times, they were making a lot of careless mistakes, and you're not going to see the defending champs do that again in Game 2. So the Bulls defense needs to be even more on point than it was in Game 2. All of the guys, including Lavine, DeRozan, and Vučević, who we all know are not the best defenders, have to be staying with their man, getting in the passing lanes, reading switches, fighting through screens. Nobody can be taking an off night on the defensive end. This isn't the time to be having mental lapses on defense or getting lazy because you're trying to conserve your energy on offense. No, the Bucks are going to come out laser focused and make sure they don't falter like they did in Game 1, and it has to be a defensive effort by committee. The other thing we need to see in Game 2, it's not the Bulls hitting their shots. That would simply be an obvious statement. It's about taking smarter shots. Too many times in Game 1, you saw DeRozan and Lavine taking heavily contested jumpers when they had guys open on the wings, continuing to draw up ISO plays. Like, that is not going to work against a team like the Bucks, not against a team that has way more size than you, that is one of the better defensive teams in the league, that is likely going to out-rebound you on those missed shots. You have to be smarter and more calculated in how you run your offense. What worked for the Bulls in Game 1 when they started going on that 13-0 run to get them in the lead in the third quarter was that guys were moving the ball around. They were running plays in transition off of the Bucks' misses. That is what is going to win games for the Bulls, as we really saw in the regular season with how successful the Bulls were when they were keeping up the ball movement and not slowing down the offense and running isolation plays in the half court. It just doesn't work, especially against the Bucks. 17 assists for the team as a whole, like we saw in Game 1, cannot happen. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, the reason the Bulls only had 17 assists was because so many guys missed shots. How do you rack up assists when you shoot 32% as a team? And yes, to an extent that's true, but there was way too much stagnation on the offensive end that didn't allow for passing to be made. And yes, some of it, sure, we should blame on DeRozan for running so many isolation plays and missing a ton of shots, but guys also weren't moving when he did have the ball. Guys weren't cutting to the basket. Guys weren't rotating to try and get open for him to even make a pass on a lot of those possessions. So I'm not going to put all of it on DeRozan, even though he is partially to blame. Some of it is also on the players and the fact that they need to be ensuring that they're moving on the court for plays to be drawn up. The other key to Game 2, we have to see Patrick Williams be more aggressive. We have to see Patrick put up more than just 3 shot attempts, 2 of which were threes. We need to see that Patrick Williams from that final game of the regular season against the Timberwolves, which I know is easier said than done, given that it was a game in which the big three all rested and the Wolves were mainly playing their bench unit, but Patrick needs to be demanding the ball more. He needs to be creating shots by not just playing catch and shoot, but rather playing off the dribble, driving to the basket, powering his way to the hoop with his strength and athleticism, bodying his way in the paint to get offensive boards and putbacks. Need to see him cutting to the basket more. Yes, some of this is on the team, like they have to be finding Patrick more. The coaching staff needs to be running more plays through him. He also needs to be playing more than just 23 minutes. Like, I get it. Billy has emphasized he's going to be going with veterans more in the playoffs, but going up against a team with a lot of size and strength, you're going to need bigger guys like Patrick to be on the court and being more impactful. 5 points and 3 rebounds from Pat isn't going to cut it. Then finally, and I'll say it again, need to see another big game from Vučević. Vuč wasn't perfecting the first game by any means. His shooting could have been a lot better, but seeing him battling in the post against Lopez or Bobby Portis was just the kind of aggression the Bulls need. Fighting for rebounds, attacking the offensive glass, getting those putbacks. Like, Vuč was getting the offensive boards in the game, but he wasn't able to get the ball back in the hoop at times. Got to convert on those second chance opportunities. And man, I really don't want to see Vučević taking so many threes. Like, Vuč should not be attempting 10 threes against the Bucks. I know he was wide open on some of those, and it's kind of like, well, you might as well take it. Like, he can hit threes. Sure, take a few here and there, but the Bulls really need to be operating with Vuč more in the paint. That's where they have been the most successful, and they need Vuč to remain in the paint to actually rebound the ball over the bigs of Milwaukee. Can't happen when he's chucking up threes and you're hoping Coby White will get the offensive rebound. And we also need Vuč to be keeping up that effort on the defensive end, being physical in the post, running out to the three-point line, because we have seen all the Bucks bigs, they hoist threes, even Giannis, who has been more open at taking those types of shots. This is going to be another game in which Vučević is the X factor. A few other call-outs for things that we need to see in game 2. I mean, Lavine and DeRozan need to play smarter. You can't have Lavine chucking up contested threes while shooting off balance. That's unacceptable in the playoffs. No more hero ball from DeRozan trying to take over the game. Need to see Coby White do what he did in game 1 and just providing scoring off the bench, and not just taking threes, but rather creating some plays driving to the hoop. That actually worked out for him in game 1 and actually created a spark for the Bulls to take that lead in the third quarter. And then finally, I would really love to see Ayo get some more minutes. Like I said, I know Billy has emphasized the desire to go with more veterans, which is why you saw Caruso get the start. It's why you saw him play 33 minutes. But Ayo can be a very impactful defender that offers you some length against guys like Middleton. You saw a number of possessions in which Caruso was switched on Middleton, even at times on Giannis. That's a bad matchup, and not saying that Ayo would be perfect matchup for that, but he offers a bigger wingspan, a longer wingspan, I should say. And I also just want to see Ayo get some run at point, controlling the offense and generating some offense for himself. Ayo is a pretty well-rounded scorer in that he can give you outside shooting, but also driving plays to the basket. So I guess this point really isn't on Ayo, it's more on Billy Donovan to be giving Ayo more minutes in general. I get why he went with Derrick Jones Jr. and Javonte Green in certain stretches. I get why he went with Coby, because Coby was heating up on offense. But see what your rookie can do, more than just 9 minutes worth, and just one shot attempt. Anyway, I'm excited to see the Bulls come out, hopefully with the same level of energy and urgency in game 2. Don't forget the game is tomorrow night, a later start of 8:30 Central. As always, I'll have a live chat for the game on the channel as well as on the Discord, so feel free to tune into that if you're interested. And also don't forget to leave your hot takes for tomorrow's video in the comments, and tune into tomorrow's video for the giveaway announcement. Until then, guys, as always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.